Aarav was only 14, but his dreams were far bigger than the streets he grew up on. He wanted to be a champion runner, not for fame, not for medals, but to make his hard-working mother proud and to honor his late grandfather, who once whispered, "Beta, you were born to fly." Every morning, while the town slept, Aarav would wake before sunrise, lace up his worn-out shoes, and run through narrow lanes, his determination stronger than the cold morning wind. He was relentless. He believed in himself, and so did everyone around him. Teachers admired his discipline, neighbors cheered for him, and his best friend encouraged him every step of the way. Aarav was unstoppable. Or so it seemed. Months of early mornings, sore legs, and skipped cricket games led to one big moment, the district-level race. The day was electric. The stadium buzzed with excitement, colorful banners waved in the breeze, and the smell of fresh rain lingered in the air. Aarav's heart pounded as he walked to the starting line, his dreams flashing before his eyes. This was it, the race that could change everything. The whistle blew, and Aarav sprinted forward with every ounce of strength he had. The wind roared in his ears. The world blurred around him. This was his moment. Until it wasn't. His foot struck a slippery patch on the wet track, and in an instant, Aarav crashed to the ground. The stadium gasped. The cheers turned into silence. Pain shot through his ankle, but he dragged himself to the finish line, tears streaming down his face. He finished last. That day, Aarav didn't just fall on the track. He fell deep into a darkness he had never known before. In the days that followed, his room became his world. His medals were shoved into a drawer. The posters he once admired curled and tore on the wall. Aarav didn't answer messages from his friends. He didn't smile. He barely spoke. The boy who once ran like lightning now couldn't bear to look in the mirror. His mother would knock softly on his door every evening, her voice gentle, asking him to come eat. But he refused. His heart ached not from the fall, but from the crushing weight of failure. To him, it wasn't just a race he had lost. It was himself. Then, one quiet night, his father stepped into his room. He didn't scold him or tell him to move on. He simply sat beside Aarav and spoke softly. He told Aarav about his own dream, how he once wanted to play cricket for the state, how he had trained for years, and how he had failed. Not once, not twice, but over and over again. Aarav's father told him that scars weren't marks of weakness. They were proof of courage, proof that you dared to try when others stayed comfortable. Those words struck something deep inside Aarav's heart. The next morning, Aarav woke early. His ankle was still sore, but his spirit burned brighter than it had in weeks. He tied his shoes with shaky hands and stepped out into the cool morning air. The world was quiet, and so was he. But step by step, he began to run again. This time, Aarav wasn't running for a medal. He wasn't running to impress anyone. He was running to heal himself, to rebuild himself one step at a time. The pain was still there, but every stride carried a spark of hope. Days turned into weeks. Weeks turned into months. Aarav studied new running techniques, trained smarter, and learned from every mistake. He was no longer chasing perfection. He was chasing growth. He laughed with his best friend again. He shared smiles with his mother, who watched him proudly from the doorway. Slowly, the boy who hid in his room became unstoppable once more. And then came the day of his comeback race. Aarav stood at the starting line again, but this time there was no fear in his eyes. There was calm. His ankle had healed, but his heart carried the lessons of every tear, every bruise, every sleepless night. The whistle blew, and Aarav ran. The wind kissed his face. The track blurred beneath his feet. The crowd cheered louder than ever, but this time, he wasn't listening for applause. He was listening to his own heartbeat, the sound of resilience. He crossed the finish line strong. Not first, not last, but strong. A silver medal hung around his neck, glinting under the sun. And in that moment, Aarav knew something far more valuable than gold. He had won himself back. That day, Aarav learned something he would never forget. Challenges aren't walls meant to stop you. They are steps meant to raise you higher. Every scar tells a story of courage. Every failure carries a hidden gift waiting for you to open it. Aarav kept running, but not to escape failure. He ran to embrace it. Because true winners aren't those who never fall. True winners are those who rise again and again, stronger every time. And so, as the sun rose over that little town, Aarav ran freely, his shadow stretching long behind him, a symbol of how far he had come. Life will test you. It will knock you down when you least expect it. But remember, Aarav's race. He didn't stop at failure. He turned it into fuel. If you believe your setbacks can become your strength, subscribe and join us for more stories that touch the heart.